In this video, I'm going to be talking with you in detail about the very intense transformative process that I am continuing to go through as a result of my interdimensional meditations and the interactions that I continue to have with higher dimensional beings, as well as the higher dimensional practices that are being awakened within me. I've been practicing them off and on for 30 years, but the light beings have revealed to me even deeper, more powerful methods. And as strange as it may seem to me, it turns out that these practices are the very practices that these beings have channeled to human beings to help prepare those people who have been destined to be on the front line of this transformative shift. And I like to call them protectors, guardian angels. There needs to be a level of awakening and energetic power that is easily accessed by those people who are awakening first, because the rest of the world has not awoken yet. And so we need to do all the heavy lifting, and in order to do that, we need to have access to energies that are not part of this dimension. So first I want to just talk about, how this process has completely taken me apart in so many ways. And I think I speak for a lot of people who are doing the practices, the ones that are really getting the energy out of it. It's becoming impossible to stay who we used to be and stay in this world. So let me just get right into that before I get in the weeds. So what interdimensional meditation is doing for me, by the way, in case you're new to the channel, we are talking about the live guided interdimensional meditations we do for free every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. If you're not able to make it to the live stream, go to the live section of the YouTube channel and you can simply press play and follow along in the meditation. If you do it with a sincere heart, I guarantee you things will happen for you. Things will shift. These most recent meditations, the one that we did on Wednesday, it's already Friday, the one that we did on Wednesday, wow, that was unbelievably powerful, and I'm still recovering from it. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get into this. So what interdimensional meditation is doing to me. So if we go back to the very first communication with light beings that I had, the communications from the beginning involved telling me my higher dimensional power and my identity. So I didn't have there was no lead up, there was, there was no taking me out to dinner and, it was just right into the most hardcore aspect of this, and it broke my brain. If you remember, if you go back and watch the videos that I did in June of 2022, July of 2022, there were times when I'm like, I can't make videos right now. I'm broken, and I was physically broken for a while because I just couldn't process the jarring shift from who I was to who I was being told I was. Now, this doesn't happen with everybody. It happened with me because they had to get me up to speed very quickly based on past life things that I've talked about in other videos, which I won't take up the time here. But basically, there was a lot of things that I had done in the previous Satya Yuga, which was, there was a previous what we call 5D on Earth, and it was just before the big flood event. And apparently there was a lot of things that I was doing at that time, and so they had to bring me back up to that level of understanding and functioning with them. So there was no easy way to do it. They just had to push me into the deep end of the pool. So I started coming apart. I'm still coming apart. The difference is I'm just letting it happen, and I'm allowing myself to enjoy the spiritual transformation that I am experiencing. So from the first communication with these light beings, it involved them telling me my higher dimensional power and identity. And it was so shocking. First off, it wasn't just that. It was that I was having energetic and telepathic communications with beings that were not only not from our physical planet, but they were not from our dimension. And so just that experience itself of just feeling the intense higher dimensional energy that comes with those telepathic communications. So it's not just like, words are coming into my head. There are words and feelings that are coming into my brain. It's not like I'm hearing voices. My imagination is putting them in, words within my brain using my own voice and my own vocabulary. But the energy that's hitting me is an energy I've never felt before, and it is it's an electromagnetic energy that's coming clearly. Now I know what higher dimensions feel like, but I hadn't felt them before, at least not to that level. And so it was incredibly jarring and shocking. And but the biggest one was them telling me who I was. And when they first showed up, I wasn't anything special. I was a guy in his late 50s, and I was just doing the best to get along in life and try and live at the beach and surf and make a living doing the things that I wanted to do and living from day to day, month to month, and just nothing all that special. I went from that to being told that not only was I something very powerful in this world and in this universe, but that they needed me to awaken very quickly to some concepts, and I had to learn about, the true history of the earth. They were telling me the true history of earth. They were telling me the true history of human beings. They were telling me about the previous higher technology civilization that Earth possessed 13,000 plus years ago. They were also telling me about the nature of the soul and incarnation and higher dimensions. I was getting visitations from loved ones, family members who had passed away, and finding out that there's no such thing as death. Finding out one of the biggest ones was finding out that Earth is actually a closed system. So we think, and this is the big failing when people try and talk about ETs and life after death. People think when they look out into third dimensional space, they think that they're seeing everything. They think that any beings from other planets are living in this same third dimensional universe, and they're using the same kinds of technologies that we would use. And that's not true at all. Earth is a closed system. And so I had to learn that everything outside of third dimensional Earth was completely different and basically totally upside down. So everything I knew about reality was completely upside down. That means everything. Starting from who I thought I was. Thinking that I was just this small little being on this little planet, and that I was a victim of circumstance, that there were forces and beings and entities that were much larger and more powerful that had this influence on me. And they said, no, that's the opposite is true. They said, you're the most powerful, meaning us humans. Humans are the most powerful. The only way that you get to be a human and go into this closed experimental environment of 3D Earth is if you are one of the most powerful gods in the entire multiverse, because the rest of consciousness in the multiverse, even higher dimensional beings, like if beings were to show up and we would think they were gods, they wouldn't have the ability to survive planet Earth. So the opposite is true. You're not this tiny little, being that's being tossed around by all of these external influences. You're actually the creator of this multiverse. So waking up to that and living in this third dimensional video game is very hard to do. Interdimensional contact expands me beyond the third dimension, and I can't fit back into my old self. Now that's not just the idea of who I am, it's actually the energy. When I go out into those higher dimensional meditations, my energy expands into these other dimensions, and coming back here into third dimension, I don't fit very well. Feels like I'm cramming myself back into a pair of shoes that are 2 sizes too small. I don't seem to fit. I'm not the only person. I've also called it the rubber band effect, where we go up into these higher dimensions when we meditate, and the rubber band stretches and stretches, and then when we come back, it just goes in the other direction. And so for me, I can tell how deeply I've gone into the other side when I wake up the next day and I'm like, oh my God, am I still here? Earth becomes very black and white, meaning there's no color. It's just, compared to those other places, it's just dull and boring. And you see how ridiculous and, horrible humans are in this third dimensional space, and how ridiculous this world is, and how we need to wake up. So interdimensional contact expands me beyond the third dimension, and I can't fit back into my old self. The most mind-expanding meditations result in immediate 3D Earth shifts. So this is one of the most interesting things. And this happened this last time. So if you did this last meditation, if you haven't, go do it. It's got the thumbnail where it says they made me into a god or something like that. And that is clickbait. I want to get more people in to watch the videos, but it's not inaccurate. That's what happened in the video. It should have happened to you as well if you did it. But during that meditation, we came down and we sent energy into all of the dark places on Earth, the dark cities. We sent it into Washington, D.C. We sent it into Zurich, Switzerland, which, to my surprise, I didn't know a heck of a lot about it, but is a very, very dark place. That's like the hub of all the dark force, evil spiritual stuff going on in the world. And then London, I saw, actually, even though there's a lot of darkness there, that underneath the UK is a huge amount of spiritual energy that is waiting to be awakened again. So we went and we worked on that. Now this was very, very, very powerful. And there was energy transmissions when we were in higher dimensions of, energy going into the third eye, into the pineal gland, awakening the pineal gland, and, all kinds of stuff. And of course, being told, again, how powerful we are, being told that we're gods, that we're creators of this multiverse, and that, the light beings, the ETs, the spirits, the guides are here to help us, to serve us, to shift this world, and it's us humans that are doing it. So all that kind of stuff is hugely mind-boggling, and you combine it with the energy that we feel. You won't know what I'm talking about if you haven't done the meditations, but the energy is crazy. So what was I saying? So the most mind... Oh, yeah. So we did that Wednesday, and yesterday and today, I'm seeing huge things exploding all over the earth, having to do with exposing lies and awakening and, all kinds of stuff that was just impossible, 3-4 years ago. I won't get into specifics. You can go see what's happening, but I find that very interesting that when we do these powerful meditations that have to do with shifting earth and shifting consciousness, I find oftentimes that the next day, 2 days later, everything is shifting very, very rapidly. So that's an interesting thing. All right, so my only way to survive this shift and be happy. So I need to, this shift is not just what we thought. The new agey idea that the world is going to shift and we're all just going to float on it and things are going to be beautiful. No. This has been a huge, I picked this, had this photo created for that reason, because that's what it feels like, that I'm coming apart. It's not necessarily a happy-go-lucky, pleasant experience. So I have to find a way to tolerate this and stay alive and stay sane. Listen, I've seen people, I've worked with people who were going into this very rapidly, and the light beings were shifting them very rapidly, and they didn't do the work necessary to acclimate to the identity shifts. And so if you've got some psychological wounds, they can grab a hold of you and make you turn around and go the other direction. And I've seen a few people completely, psychologically jump off the bridge. I've certainly not been, immune to that. It's been very challenging. So I need a crutch. I need something that helps me to stay strong and to continue to grow. And it turns out that I have one. I've had it my whole life, and I've been sharing it with you guys. So the old methods of fitting into this world do not work anymore. I have two choices. I can shift to 5D and be miserable in 3D, or I can use the 6D energy technology the light beings have given me. So when I say I can shift into 5D and be miserable, that's what was going on for a while. For a while I was shifting, but every time I'd come back here, it was, I was like limping around, and there was a couple of times when I couldn't function. And so I'm glad that I went through that, because as it turns out, I had the technology the whole time, I just wasn't using it. And that technology is the exercises I'm now going full bore and sharing with you and teaching you. So turns out I can use the 6D light, 6D energy technology the light beings have given me. The Maoshan practices are not optional for me. They're not an option. I'm not doing it because it's fun or I like it. Lifting weights is optional for me. It's a really good idea at my age to do it. I feel good when I do it, but for instance, lately, not too long ago, we had a lot of surf come into Florida, and so I can't, I physically can't surf big waves and go to the gym and work out. I just, I don't have the physical capacity anymore. So I've been really going less and less on my weightlifting, and now I'm slowly letting my body go back into it. So what I'm trying to say is, weightlifting is something I really need, but it's an option. The Maoshan practices are not an option for me, because if I don't do them, this shift tears me apart to such a degree that I'm not able to hold it together. Here's the other thing. There's no going back. Everybody's going to go through this. If you're not going through it now, you will be. And many people are going through it and they don't realize it. They're just, spazzing out and flipping out and not understanding what's going on. People are calling it ascension symptoms. Those are real. So there is a way to not only mitigate the ascension symptoms, but to excel in the third dimension and continue to shift, and that happens to be these practices that I'm teaching you. So these Maoshan practices are not optional for me. If I don't do them, I will not adapt to the new identity that is emerging. And for my own survival, my own mental survival, I cannot waste time, indulging in confusion. What does this mean? Am I going crazy? I can't. I don't have time to do that anymore. It's very damaging to me. So I only have one choice. If I want to survive this shift, I have to go with it 150%. And in order for me to do that, I have to use the energy technologies that have been given to me. So I'm going to give you the steps to use. If any of this hits you, if you're experiencing any of this, I have a way to not only help you survive the ascension symptoms, allow you to integrate the new identities smoothly and more easily, but also allow your physical body to begin the shift to a higher frequency. It gives you a head start on all this. Listen, the rest of the world, when it starts happening to them, you're going to see it. They're going to start coming apart at the seams. So this is the fastest way to get through it and be able to live here on the planet, have a future going forward, and see you're able to pull into this world higher dimensional energy, which shifts you, continue to push you forward, as opposed to being pulled, kicking and screaming and being pulled apart, by like traveling warp speed. You're fading. Again, that's what this picture is supposed to give you an idea about. All right, so the step one, my only way to survive the shift and be happy is, number one, do the live interdimensional meditations. That's actually a karmic, it's a karmic job. It's my job. And this is, I could get into it, but 13,000 years ago, I was actually a physical ruler on Earth. And I controlled things physically from the top down. I was a very powerful ruler. So we're in the opposite side of that now, which is what the Aquarian Age really is about. And so this time around, I have the same level of spiritual power and authority, except that I have to help shift the world from behind the scenes. So instead of, being Donald Trump and going out in front of the world and making a speech and telling people what to do, which is kind of what I did last time. This time, I'm shifting things around, but, nobody gets to see it. Nobody knows it. I'm just a normal person walking around. So that is what the interdimensional meditations are. It's me teaming up with the light beings, and they're helping me to do that. And if you're doing these meditations, you are also doing that. So step two is summoning the immortals and or celestial qigong and or warrior day 90-day lightning qigong. These are the only, you won't find those practices anywhere else in the world. And the only place you can find them. And they are the best introductory ways into this 6D lightning energy. If you do what they did, 100 years ago, they went straight into the most powerful practices, and they could do that because they didn't have the kind of world that we had. They could live in mountains, in monasteries on mountains and just, meditate. They could handle it. So those of us that live a real life, we couldn't take it. So I've been given these technologies. I started creating them as a way of just teaching people the most powerful methods I knew of, and it turns out this was my destiny to release this so that the average person, a brand new beginner who's just new at all this, doesn't know anything about it, can tap into this energy and to begin to shift your physical body, your nervous system, and your energy meridians to be able to handle higher dimensional energies. So summoning the immortals and or celestial qigong and or warrior day 90-day lightning qigong. So those can all be found here at thunderwizard.com. If you go and go to thunderwizard.com and hit membership, then you will see the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Subscribe to that. You'll have access. I literally had somebody subscribe and then complain because there were so many videos. There were so many practices. So, you're not going to have any shortage of practices. In there, I teach you the 3 ones meditation, the Maoshan mantra. I teach you Kundalini yoga, I teach you Qigong, and I teach you mantra meditation and runes, and there's just no shortage of stuff there. Don't overdo it. Do whatever you're able to do, but that's an entryway in to get the body prepared. So that's step 2, summoning the immortal celestial qigong, warrior 90-day lightning qigong. So if you go to thunderwizard.com and hit shop, then you will see, where is it? If you hit shop, you will see summoning the immortals. It's only $29. You will see celestial qigong. You'll also see the 5-element Maoshan spirit fighting sets and some other stuff in there. Those aren't the only things there in the shop. These are the things that I'm promoting to help you shift and to survive the shift. Okay, so that is step 2, which gives you the introduction into the Maoshan energy. Step 3 is the holding the 3 ones meditation and mantra. So that is actually in the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And it's important because when you're doing the Maoshan practices, you're going to need to be able to awaken your 3 centers, so the 3 ones. And this allows you to take that Maoshan energy, and you will make progress faster. The original people who came up with those 3 ones meditation, they spent in monasteries by themselves on mountaintops for 10 years meditating before they were able to, master them. So you're going to get access and you're going to get mastery of this energy much more quickly if you're doing the, summoning the immortals, warrior 90-day lightning qigong, celestial qigong. But you should be doing the 3 ones meditation as well, okay? And that is in there. So that's step 3. There's a mantra that goes with it, which was given to my teacher by the then Grand Master, who is no longer alive. But if you chant that mantra at the end of the meditation, it will give you an ability to move forward in your life using this power. Okay, step 4 is the 5-element spirit fighting forms. I already showed you where to find that. Go to thunderwizard.com, click on shop. And you see them all, see at the bottom there, wood, and then metal, fire, water, also earth. So you want to start with wood, and then go wood, metal, fire, water, earth. If you want all of them, go here to maoshan.thunderwizard.com. You can get them all at once. And I think save some money in the process. And step 5 is the Hands of Infinity form. So that is called the first set. That can be found here, maoshan.thunderwizard.com. I'm uploading new stuff. I'm about to upload another one where I was going to make this a separate video, but I'm just going to, include it with the Hands of Infinity, which is how you can mirror the second half. And I don't know why they didn't do that in the beginning. Maybe because it was perhaps too powerful. I don't know. But in the beginning, they just did the right hand side and then doubled that. But this time I'm going to turn it into, it's fairly simple. I'll upload that where you can mirror both the right side, which is the 3rd dimensional side, and the left side, which is the spiritual side. And that set is very powerful. So that set, the Hands of Infinity, that is step 5. There's also the Hands of Infinity butterfly hands. There's also the butterfly hands in the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Those are incredibly powerful. So if you're not ready to go, or you're not interested in learning these entire moving spirit fighting forms, you can go to those, which are not a substitute, but they're very powerful, and so those are available. All right, so that's step 5, Hands of Infinity. Step 6 is the butterfly hands form, which I have not given yet. There hasn't been enough people yet. I haven't seen enough interest. There's a couple people chomping at the bit. They want to go there, but you guys just learned the first set, so spend some time with that. But I actually gave a piece of the second set, the butterfly hands, in the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. The quantum butterfly is actually 1/2 of the butterfly in the butterfly set. Butterfly set is very long and complicated, but that's there. So you still have access to that, which is step 6. Step 7, nobody has access to that yet. That's the assassin fist form. So you see second set and third set. So Hands of Infinity is the first set. So the first set is the navel. Second set is the heart. Third set is the third eye. You need all 3 of them. This is the fastest way to do that. You can just do it by doing the holding the 3 ones meditation. That's what they originally did 2,000 years ago. If you want the freight elevator up to the top, then I recommend doing those sets. So lower, middle, upper dantian, those are the 3 sets. First set, second set, third set. Okay, and then optional would be the Spirit Fist form and the Dark Warrior form. So the Dark Warrior form, I have, there was a small version of that that was really just an invocation to the Dark Warrior, and I asked him, could I please create a whole form for him? And so he said yes, and so I started working with him on that. And it turned into a completely different, it wasn't a spirit fighting set, it was actually more akin to, there's some spirit fighting moves in there, but it was more also like a Qigong set. It looked a lot, there were some things that I'd seen in Tai Chi. There's one particular movement that's very similar to one of the movements in Tai Chi. And it's big and it's huge, and the way I understood it is that this is a set that masters the macrocosm of the yin and yang, and then it gives you the ability to intend to create the world, like to intend reality. So that's called Yi Gong, which is intent. So that's that form is there. I've also been working with the Spirit Fist. Now the Spirit Fist is going to be associated with the Shen. So the second set, the butterfly set, is the Shi power. It's really just pure Shi power. But the Shen is what's inside the Shi. The Shi surrounds the Shen. So the Spirit Fist is about the Shen, and I'm now creating a set for that and working with the perfected immortal to create that, and I'm really enjoying it. So all of these things I'm going to be making available to everybody, those that are interested. All right, but whatever level you want to do it at, there's other ways to do this. I'm not the only guy in town. I've just been given, and I'm being serious when I tell you this, that it's been made abundantly clear to me by the higher dimensional light beings that they have chosen me to give this technology to the world. And so, what Tai Chi did for the world, 100 years ago, it took a martial art. Tai Chi was a very deadly martial art. It was softened up and then turned into a powerful moving Qigong practice, which has saved people's lives. And it's incredibly beautiful and powerful. The spirit fighting is going to be the 5D version of that. This is going to be the practices that people do in higher dimensions, and they will be pulling 6D energy into their 5D world. That comes directly from the light beings. So this isn't just me making stuff up to promote this stuff. It wasn't my idea. It was never my idea to teach this to the world. The light beings told me to do it, so I am. So believe me or don't believe me, but this is the state of things right now. So yeah, step one, if you want to just start from the beginning, do the free live interdimensional meditations. All right, so that's me checking in for today, explaining to you how I'm surviving this craziness, what how this shift has hit me. It's just been very, very, very intense, and I'm still doing my best. But thankfully, I have all these practices to help me, and I want to share them with you. All right, so that's it, my friends. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves, and put in the comments section if you're doing the practices, what's been happening to you. Put in the comments section if you're coming apart. You know, if the interdimensional meditations are making you feel like you're coming apart, if you're struggling staying in this third dimensional world, put that in the comments section. You can ask me questions if you want. I would love to be able to help you. By the way, the best way to make any progress on this path is to work with me personally. So there's no shortage of ways right now. There was a time when I was turning students away, but we started going through this shift, and I started losing students because they couldn't tolerate the energy that I was going into. So now there's some openings. So you go to thunderwizard.com, click on memberships, and you'll see all the different ways that you can work with me. And those of you, there are people who do these practices and they gung-ho in the beginning, and then the energy hits them, and then they take off. So before you do that, work with me. I can help you. It's worth it. Don't let your third dimensional resistance, get you to jump off ship. Okay? There's no life raft out there waiting for you. If you jump off the ship, you're going to be treading water. Stay on the ship. I'll do whatever I can to help you. All right, that's it, my friends. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. I'll see you all very soon.